In this video clip, I will introduce Chapter 9, Social Computing, which is a very interesting chapter. In this chapter, we'll learn A/B test, user-generated content, crowd intelligence, and how to use social computing in business. Okay, there are some questions for us to think about before we start the chapter. First, if you are given 3 different designs for the website landing page of a company that sells bikes, how can you decide which one is the best? Is this one, or this one, or this one? Okay, it might be difficult for us to tell the answer at this stage, but when we go through this chapter a little bit more, we will come back to this question and see what are the potential solutions for this question. Okay, the second question for us to think about is product reviews. Are the reviews we see on the social networking sites representative? Do you really trust customer reviews on Amazon, eBay, or other e-commerce websites? Usually, these e-commerce companies will use 5-star review scale. Just looking at the slides, what is the shape of the distribution of the number of stars? Please make a guess and write down your guess on a paper. And then after we go through the chapter a little bit, we'll come back to this slide and see if your answer is correct or not. Okay, next, let's think about crowdsourcing. Do you know what is crowdsourcing? What is the wisdom of the crowd? And how to apply crowdsourcing in the business setting? All these answers can be found in this chapter. Okay, let's take a look at what we will learn in this chapter. First, we'll discuss Web 2.0 and then talk about the fundamentals of social computing in business. Next, we'll go over different applications of social computing in business. Please note that we will not go through the last session, session 9.6 in this chapter. Okay, let's start from session 9.1, which is Web 2.0. Okay, first, let's take a look at what is traditional IT. Traditional IT supports organizational activities and business process and concentrates on cost reduction and productivity enhancement. For example, ERP systems in the company. Different from traditional IT, the content from social media usually comes from user-generated content. That means users will produce, control, use, and manage the content. In social media, you can be linked to particular people in a social network. Speaking of social network, let's take a look at what is social networking. Social networking is the interaction of people connected by friendship, interests, business association, or other common trait, and supported by Web 2.0 technology. And business can use social networking groups to strengthen relationships among customers and create potential for viral marketing. There are 2 different kinds of ties, strong ties and weak ties. A strong tie is someone who you know very well, like your family, your friends. A weak tie is a more tenuous relationship. Weak ties provide people with access to information and resources beyond those available in their own social circle. However, these V ties are crucial in binding groups of strong ties together. They can bring circles of networks into contact with each other, strengthen relationships, and forming new bonds between existing relationship circles. How do social networks add value to businesses? First, let's take a look at what is the value of social capital. The value of social capital is the number of relationships in a social network. By strength of those relationships and by resources controlled by those related relationships. How we can gain social capital? We can gain social capital by adding more friends and strengthen relationships with existing friends. We can also gain social capital by strengthening relationships with people who control resources that are important to you. And organizations can have social capital created through salespeople, customer support, public relations, endorsements by high-profile people via Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social networking sites. Okay, let's take a look at different marketing strategies. Suppose you are a member in Fox Lake Country Club. What would be your marketing strategies to promote your country club? You can use the traditional marketing strategy, which is word of mouth to reach out to your family and friends. However, it could take you a long time and you may spend a lot of energy in this process. Or you can just send the promotion messages to your friends and family directly. Or you can use social networking sites to do viral social network marketing. After you share the promotion information to your family and friends via social networking sites, they can spread this piece of information via social networking sites as well. This way, the promotion information spreads in the same way that virus spreads from one person to another. You can imagine it is still delivered by word of mouth, but it enhanced by the network effects of social networking sites. Okay, next, let's take a closer look at the viral marketing with social networking sites. Sometimes the traditional business communication can be unreliable. For example, you may not have a chance to visit your friends and family for a long time, so your friends and family will not be able to access the information you want to let them know. From this aspect, social network communication is more reliable. Viral message can reach more people in a faster, cheaper, and more personal way. In our example, Fox Lake could expand its viral marketing by inducing customers induce their friends to form a relationship with Fox Lake. Okay, let's move on and discuss social computing. Social computing is the combination of information systems and social behavior. This combination creates value for business. From this figure, we can identify some keywords in social computing. For example, social media, apps, Google+, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, collective intelligence, prediction markets, and Web 2.0. What is Web 2.0? According to our textbook, Web 2.0 is a loose collection of information technologies and applications, plus the websites that use them. There is another definition of Web 2.0 from Wiki, which is Web 2.0 associated with web applications that facilitate participatory information sharing, interoperability, user-centered design, and collaboration on the World Wide Web. First, we need to differentiate between Web 2.0 and Web 1.0. Web 1.0 is the read web, or the read-only web. This is back in the early days of the Internet. Web 1.0 emerged around 1990s. At that time, Web 1.0 mostly published content from the website to the reader. It is very passive. You could have to get information and it will be pushed down to you. Web 2.0 is the read-write web, which emerged around 2000s. It publishes content coming to you, and you have the user-generated content going to it. As a result, there is an incredible amount of user-generated content from Web 2.0. So, in other words, Web 1.0 is about commerce, and Web 2.0 is about people. Okay, next, let's go through a few Web 2.0 tools. First, let's take a look at tagging. Tagging is user-generated classification that use tags to categorize and retrieve web pages, photos, videos, and other web content. Geotagging refers to tagging information on maps. So previously we talked about structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Usually data with tags we classify it as semi-structured data. Okay, next, RSS. It is a Web 2.0 feature that allows you to receive the information you want, usually customized information, without having to surf thousands of websites. Blogs and microblogging. Blogs is short for web blog. It is a personal website open to the public in which the site creator expresses his or her feelings or opinions via a series of entries. Microblogging is a form of blogging that allows users to write short messages or capture an image or embedded video and publish them. Wikis is knowledge-based websites that made up entirely of content posted by users. Next, let's take a look at how businesses can harness Web 2.0. Web 2.0 create opportunities for brand building, public relationship development, direct sales to the customers, and optimization of the websites. We'll go through each one of them in the next few slides. Web 2.0 enables us to do advertisement and promote our brand over the internet. For example, we can use banner, text message to promote the companies, and we can also demographically target our audience. Okay, in the previous slides, we talked about an example of viral marketing. Viral marketing refers to marketing techniques that use pre-existing social networking services and other technologies to try to produce increases in brand awareness or to achieve other marketing purposes such as product sales through replicating viral processes. Social media helps companies to enhance their public relationship. For example, they can use corporate blog to develop conversations with their customers, employees, and media. Companies can use blogs as an integral part of marketing strategy because it promotes two-way relationship between the company and the customers. And there is a platform for the company and customer to communicate. Web 2.0 also enables the website optimization. A widely used online experiment is called A/B testing, where two or more variants of a page are shown to the users at random, and the statistical analysis will be used to determine which variation performs better. Remember our opening question? We can determine the best landing page for the bike company by using the A/B testing. Web 2.0 also enables companies to sell their products or services directly to their customers. For example, 26% of Facebook users who clicked on the ads reported making a purchase. 95.8% of social media marketers are using the Facebook ad platform. Okay, next, let's take a look at how much is Facebook worth today. I do not have the most current data, but as of December 31st, 2018, Facebook had 2.32 billion monthly active users. By doing viral social marketing, Facebook's each user is worth about $158. How we can calculate the value of each user? Value of each user equals to the number of active users divided by the company's market capitalization, and the company's market capitalization equals to the number of shares multiplied by the price of each share. Okay, so using this formula, we can calculate Google's each user is worth about $182. Twitter's each user is worth about $81. And Amazon each user is worth $733. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is all the value of each user for Google, Twitter, Amazon, and Facebook that we mentioned here is calculated by the number on December 31st, 2018. If you are interested, you can calculate how much each user is worth for Google, Twitter, Amazon, and Facebook by yourself using the formulas I provided in this slide. Okay, here is the source. Okay, the next few slides are related to crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is the act of taking a job traditionally performed by a designated employee and outsourcing it to an undefined, generally large group of people in the form of an open call. Crowdsourcing organizations can also involve their users in the design and marketing of their products. Crowdsourcing combines social networking, viral marketing, and open source design to save considerable cost while cultivating customers. And here I listed a few examples of crowdsourcing. There are 4 types of crowdsourcing: creation, invention, organization, and prediction. For creation, we can create new content that is owned and maintained by your readers. For example, Wikipedia. For invention, we can source new ideas for your company and have the committee to run these ideas. Here I listed a few examples. For organization, we can create new content by making users organize existing content. Again, I list a few examples of how to use crowdsourcing to do organization. For prediction, we can use crowdsourcing to predict trends by inviting users to submit and vote on ideas. For example, MediaPredict.com. The next few slides are all related to customer-generated reviews. Customer-generated reviews are first started with books on Amazon.com. But nowadays, there are review sites for almost everything, like restaurants, electronics, and hotels. In contrast to Top X, that means the reviews cover only popular items. These days, we can get reviews for less popular products. Here are two questions that I want to ask here. Are the reviews representative? How do people express their sentiment when they review products or services? Okay, this is the correct answer. Did you make a good guess? So, why there are a lot of people choose 1 star and 5 star, and less people choose 2 and 4, and even less people choose 3? Why is that? This is because people just don't like to be critical. Usually, people do not post if they do not feel strongly about the product. So, the reviews are more linked to positive or negative reviews instead of in the middle. Next, let's think about another question. Do people trust reviews? According to the law of large numbers, for single review, no, but for multiple reviews, yes. Also, people would trust peer feedback. That means the number of useful votes for each review. The perceived usefulness of the reviews is affected by first identity disclosure. People trust real people who disclose their identity. Mixture of objective and subjective elements. Also, the perceived usefulness of the review depends on readability of the review. Sometimes negative reviews are useful because they may help you to increase your sales. Why is that? I will leave this question for you guys to think about. Okay, next, let's think about how can businesses benefit from Web 2.0 by advertising. They can advertise their companies on Web 2.0 using AdWords. For example, Google AdWords. Here is how it works. Vendors will pay for specific words and phrases, and the place on search results list depends on how much you pay for search word. And vendor pays when someone actually clicks on their link. Here is a typical search result you could see on Google. You will see organic and paid search results, and usually the paid results are on the top of the organic results. The place for organic search results is based on the quality and content of your website, and the place for paid search results is based on the algorithm for AdWords. We'll discuss the algorithm in the next 2 slides. Okay, first let's introduce a concept called pay-per-click. Pay-per-click, also called cost per click, is an internet advertising model that used to direct traffic to websites, in which advertisers pay the publisher, typically a website owner like Google, when the ad is clicked. It is defined simply as the amount you spend to get an advertisement clicked. Here is pay-per-click calculated. It equals to advertising cost divided by the number of times the ad is clicked. This slide shows how does Google determine which ad is shown where. The rank of the ad is equals to cost per click or pay per click bid multiplied by the quality score of your website. So in order to have a good place at Google result, you need to have a good combination of the pay per click bid and the quality score of your website. Next, we will briefly introduce Mashups. Mashup is a web application that combines data from other websites. For example, we can map data from Google Maps to add location information to real estate data in order to create a new and distinct web service. Okay, let's come back to this slide. Previously, we talked about social computing. What is social computing? It is the combination of information systems and social behavior to create value for businesses and individuals. Social computing in business is social commerce. Social commerce refers to the delivery of electronic commerce activities and transactions through social computing. There are a lot of potential benefits of social commerce to customers and to businesses. For example, the benefits to customers. Social commerce provides better and faster vendor responses to complaints because customers can air their complaints in public like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Example for the benefits to businesses. Social commerce can help businesses to test their new products and ideas quickly and inexpensively. For example, A/B testing. Social computing has largely altered both the expectations of customers and the capabilities of corporations in the area of customer relationship management. Customers are now empowered as companies closely monitor negative comments and proactively involve customers to resolve problems or issues in order for them to improve customer service. Also, empowered customers know how to use the wisdom and power of crowds and communities to their benefit. I will give you an example in the next slide. United Breaks Guitars is a protest song by a Canadian musician, Dave, and his band, Sons of Maxwell. This song talks about a real-life experience of how Dave's guitar was broken during a trip on United Airlines in 2008, and the subsequent reaction from the airline. This song became an immediate YouTube and iTunes hit upon its release in July 2009, and a public relations embarrassment for the airline. If you are interested in this song, please click the YouTube link here. What is the consequence? Within 4 days of the video being posted online, United Airlines stock price fell 10%, and it cost stockholders about $180 million in value. Okay, here is how you can respond to social networking problems. If it is a reasonable criticism from the customer, just leave it. If you feel it is necessary to respond to the comment, please remember, do not insult the content contributor, or do not be defensive. You need to respond to the content in a positive way. Of course, the company can delete the comment when the comment is inappropriate and has nothing to do with the website. Okay, here is one thing that you need to remember. Never set up a website that will generate content for which you have no effective response. Okay, next, let's conclude what we learned in this chapter. We first talk about Web 2.0, the difference between Web 2.0 and 1.0, and then we talk about social computing, different elements in social computing, what fundamental social computing can benefit businesses and individuals. Next, we talk about social commerce. We also talk about how we can do marketing using social computing, how to do viral marketing, and how we can use AdWords. Okay, and last we talk about how to do customer relationship management using social computing.